Well, hello, I'm Nathan Judah. I'm delighted to be joined by Joe Edwards. Joe, quiet 24 hours for Wolverhampton Wanderers Football Club. Goodness gracious me. Look, we've just heard from Nuno, and of course we'll go on to the Manchester City preview momentarily. But of course, the huge news coming out of Wolves is, kind of two deals, but a double deal, is one coming in, one going out. Let's talk about Diogo Jota. We all knew what happened on Thursday night, that he left. We now know he's going to be a Liverpool player. He's about to be announced imminently. What does Nuno think? What do the fans think? How do you see everything in this deal?
Well, it's just another day in the life of Wolverhampton Wanderers. It's just been such a crazy few weeks, and now Diogo Jota is going to Liverpool in a deal worth up to £45 million. Initial fee of £41 million could rise to that £45 million mark in add-ons. There's a suggestion that the fee is going to be paid in instalments over a series of years. I think that's fairly commonplace, but it's we all had question marks, our suspicions about Jota. Really strange, left out the squad on Thursday. Nuno very coy at the time, but addressed it in this afternoon's press conference and said, "Well, firstly, I apologise for that, but we have to kind of keep things private until things are done." And wish Jota well. Insisted he's a player whose impact at Wolves will never be forgotten. Kind of putting my fan hat on for a few seconds. Jota, just such an amazing player to watch, and a player that I think a lot of fans had a real affinity with. Somebody who really wore the shirt with pride. Not just a fantastic player in terms of talent. It's a great move for him at Liverpool, joining the Premier League champions, a team that won the Champions League a couple of years ago. But he'll be missed. It's good money. It's a lot of money, for Wolves, and it's a huge profit on. It was about 13 million that they paid Atletico Madrid in the summer of 2018. But still from a fan point of view and from I think I speak for most people connected with Wolves, from a fan point of view, when to say he's going to be missed, and it is a real shame to see him leave.
Yeah, he's provided some very special moments, and I can understand a lot of fans thinking now, especially when they've had maybe a time to sleep on it, well, he wasn't really in Nuno's plans at the start of this season. He was in and out. He obviously had a difficult season last year. But everyone knows what he can do. And I think everybody felt at the back of their minds that he will do that again, over the next few weeks or the season, because that's the talent he is. And that's why Liverpool have paid, up to £45 million for his services. And not just Liverpool, the Premier League champions, as you say, Joe. 5-year deal are we expecting for Diogo Jota? Market value-wise, so 42 rising to 45. Do you feel that's about his market value? Do you feel it may be slightly under, or do you think that maybe you were expecting a little bit more money?
It's probably about right, considering the season that he had last season. I think had they been cashing in this time last year, I think he could have been asking for upwards of 50, really. 50 to 55. It may be on the low end in terms of potential, but I think it's not. It doesn't strike you in the way that the Matt Doherty fee did. I'll certainly say that. I mean, Matt Doherty fees seem low to a lot of people, and we've gone over the reasons for that. But Jota, 45 million. I don't think anybody will be losing kind of any sleep over it. Maybe you could have got a few more million in some people's eyes, but I think it's pretty fair game. We're not expecting a direct replacement for him. I think Nuno feels that Wolves are quite well stocked in those forward areas. Of course, Pedro Neto and Daniel Podence have really emerged as of late. It's still got Adama Traore. I think you can throw Vitinha and Fabio Silva into that mix now. So it looks like Nuno spoke about it in the press conference. He's got targets in mind, specifically a target in mind. It seemed like a right wing back. So it looks like that this money that they get from Jota is going to be reinvested into other areas of the pitch. But as we say, still a shame to see him go.
Yeah, it's sad to see him go. And look, he could go into huge things at Liverpool. I mean, make no mistake about that. He could be an absolute world talent. Obviously, he's going to have to work hard to be competing with Mane and Salah and Firmino to try and get into that side. But if anyone can do it, I think if he's on song, Diogo Jota can. Right, that's Diogo Jota. Right, let's move him to one side. Right, we've got a signing, Joe, or just about to have a signing, or every time you're watching us, we've had a signing. What do you make of Mr. Hoever then? I mean, this is one that's come very, very, very quickly as well. About 12-13 million pounds, or 8 to 10 million pounds, but could be a superstar. I know a lot of Liverpool fans are very, very disappointed to see this young lad go.
Yeah, so it's about 9 million initially, and then again, these add-ons that are such commonplace in these.
The old add-ons, mate.
The old add-ons to about
the old sweeteners, mate. The old sweeteners.
The old sweeteners. About 13.5. If all of those are met, I think Liverpool have got a bit of a sell-on clause as well, about 15%. So, yeah, I mean, he fits the brief. I mean, he's young. I mean, he's very young, 18. But he made his senior debut against Wolves in the FA Cup a couple of years ago, fans might remember. At Molineux, Dejan Lovren picked up an injury early on, and Hoever filled in the sweeper role for Liverpool that night. But he sees himself as a right back. Well, at least he did last month. He was quoted as him saying, I see myself as a right back. I like the attacking aspect. So it seems like, that he's a player that can, help lessen the kind of impact of Doherty's departure. I don't expect him to kind of be the man, that they're going to have in that position. But he can play as a central defender, one of those spots in the free, probably on the right hand side of that defensive free, or right wing back. He's got that versatility factor, and he's got a huge ceiling in terms of potential. I mean, talk from the Liverpool end is that Atletico Madrid and Juventus were also kind of sniffing around this guy, so he's got a lot of potential through the Ajax academy, and Ajax's fabled academy before heading to Liverpool a couple of years ago. So fits the Wolves mould, and good luck to him. It's good to see young talent coming in, but equally Nuno still wants to get some more business done.
Yeah, and I think Nuno was quick to point out that he will not be involved against Manchester City on Monday night. But do you see Ki having a role in the first team this year as a starter, or wasn't making the squad and the bench for Liverpool this season? Neco Williams, I think, takes that role for backup to Trent Alexander-Arnold. But can you see him pushing for first team slot, starting straight away, or just being maybe fulfilling that Max Kilman role on the bench that was for the majority of last season, and being someone who's versatile, who can play right back, who can play centre back?
I think it kind of falls into the Silva Vitinha mould, where these are players that have got within 2-3 years' time could be surefire starters and be fantastic players for Wolves. But I think for now you've got to be careful not to place too much weight of expectation on their shoulders yet. I think he's going to be in the squad pretty much most weeks, and having that versatility to play right wing back and centre half is very useful. And maybe it means somebody like Oscar Burr as a more of a relegated role, maybe time will tell, but it could be a situation where they try and loan him out before the end of the window. I don't think he's done anything particularly wrong, but after having a taste for football, he'd want more this season. So Hoever coming in, Klopp has spoke very highly of him before. Plenty of people at the club think he's got a very bright future, so it could be a bit of a coup this for Wolves. But while Jota's heading the other way, it's it is a bit of a tougher one to take for fans, of course.
Yeah, it's good that at least some of these youngsters will get more Carabao Cup action in the next couple of weeks anyway. Before we go on to Manchester City, let's talk about Campagna, just as an aside. He's left Wolves today, I believe.
On loan, yeah. So he's gone to Formalisa. There's a bit of a partnership forming there, isn't there? Bruno Jourdain.
Oh, there's partnerships everywhere.
Well, that's it. Yeah, one of the many. Bruno Jourdain went to Formalisa the other week. Portuguese top flight club. They had a very good season actually last season. I think they finished about 6th or 7th in the Premier League after going up. So hopefully Campagna gets some minutes and actually kind of finds out for himself, I think, what he can do as a player at a decent level. It was a signing in January. Of course, we've not seen him play a minute in a Wolves shirt, but now's his time to impress, and all power to him in Portugal.
Right, Jota done, Hoever done, Campagna done. Let's move on to Monday night. It's Wolves against Manchester City. Manchester City's first game of this season, of course. Not for Wolves. Wolves have already played a few already, and let's fingers crossed they can do the business as they did last season. What do we expect? What does Nuno expect? It's obviously going to be very difficult, but at the same time, you get Manchester City side without Laporte, without Aguero, maybe still trying to find some freshness there. Is it a good time to play them?
I think it could be, yeah. I mean, they're a bit of an unknown quantity because obviously they haven't played. They had a very short summer, as Wolves did. Not had a lot of time on the training pitch, of course, as Wolves had so many internationals go out. City probably had even more because, it's Man City. So, they're a bit of an unknown quantity. We think Aguero's going to miss out. Looks like Laporte's going to miss out as well. So there's two kind of key players. Of course, they've got a lot of strength in depth, and it's not just those players that you've got to worry about. But yeah, I think Wolves will be quietly optimistic if they can perform well, they get something from the game. But City equally are gunning for the title, aren't they, this season? They didn't give Liverpool enough of a challenge last time around, and a lot of people are putting money on them to go all the way, so that they want to kick off with a bang and should make for an entertaining, interesting game on Monday night at Molineux.
From a team news point of view, Joe, do you expect a similar team to that of Sheffield United where they won 2-0, or do you think that he might change it around? Of course, Ruben Neves was on the bench. He'll not be happy about that. He'll want to play in these kind of big games. Or does he stick with his tried and tested, and Marcelo, that left wing back, and Adama Traore right wing back?
Yeah, I mean, I think the only one that's up for contention is Neves coming into the middle of the park, but I'd probably lean to it being the same team that started against Sheffield United. That right wing back, Hoever is not eligible. I think you have to be signed on kind of the before Friday to play games on that match, on that match weekend, if you like. So he'll join up with Wolves in training tomorrow on Sunday. But he won't be able to play the game. So, Hoever is one we'll see kind of from West Ham onwards. But, so I think Adama Traore right wing back, Marcelo at left wing back, and, especially with Jota leaving now, it's got to be Paddington and Neto really in support of Jimenez. So, it's still a strong team, and hopefully Wolves can kind of get something from the game. But, I think it's going to be pretty much the same as Sheffield United, maybe one change, but it's not going to be anything too drastic.
It's Wolves against Manchester City, Joe. Please give me a prediction.
I said on the podcast, and I'm going to stick with it, I think City might just edge this one. I think Wolves will give him a good go and give him a tough game, but I think City, the onus is on coming flying out the blocks as kind of Wolves did at Sheffield United, and I think that they'll be right on it from the first whistle, and I'll say they'll edge it 2-1 and Jimenez goal for Wolves.
Excellent. 2-2 for me. Thank you very much, Joe. We'll both be at Molineux on Monday night. Looking forward to it. Thank you very much, pal. Take care.
Bye.